Alright, so I don't want to sound like a huge jerk or anything, but I don't get why this game is as acclaimed as it is. Ace Attorney Investigations 2 is a sequel to Investigations 1, so you think that everything the first game done would be executed way better, you know, but not necessarily like with better ideas. Just we know the first game was a bit flawed, so the best I wanted this game to be is Investigations 1, but it's like a better Investigations 1. But unfortunately, for me personally, it is very unfortunate to report that no, they fumbled the bag in a million ways. I don't get why this game is considered a fan favorite when this game presents the same shit I have seen just last game, amplified by 1,000. Actually, I know why. It's because the game has fathers, chests, and themes. It's such an emotional game that got me crying an entire river. Bro, I don't know, bro. The game barely focuses on gameplay. This time around, the cases are now ultra extended by having too much fucking dialogue shoved into it. And when you do get around to the gameplay is still just as mid as it was in the first game. So pretty much nothing changed, except they added a game mechanic that's fucking useless. Let's stop beating around the bush and get this over with. Very interesting, this game and the first Investigations game have cases that I think are some of the worst this series has ever seen. Turnabout Trigger is straight up garbage. The entire premise is Miles investigates an attempted assassination. That's an interesting enough premise. Unfortunately, they fucked it up. The first half is like, it's not like the worst. It's got a bad case of the bad ordering and some bad answers. Like, the first objection just assumes this guy was the only guy wearing the red raincoat, which is wrong. And then the second objection is just straight up a lie. This guy happened to know the name of the president's bodyguard, but like, you don't even know if that's his actual name. And during the third testimony, Edgeworth shoves this picture down our throat as proof of where Tabby was located, and you would think, based on the tape recorder, that she would be right behind the two old men. But no, you present the president raising his fist. The fuck sense does that make? They're trying so hard to have this twist with the parka work when it would actually work if the case was normal. And then the second half hits and the case goes downhill. Everything you saw in the first half is irrelevant. So you have this testimony from the president where the contradiction is not the fact that, you know, the trajectory of the bullet was off, so it couldn't have hit Rook based on the testimony provided. Instead, the contradiction is the plain red balloon was actually not a plain red balloon. Guys, this ain't just a balloon, it's the Steel Samurai. Are you serious? The second you see this body, this becomes a contradiction immediately. Why are we talking about the balloon? And why the fuck is his response has nothing to do with the balloon, but the flags blowing in his direction? They had no idea what they were gonna do with the Steel Samurai man, so they did this. And then we present this photo that clearly shows that every deduction in the first half meant nothing, because we had this picture that Kay has given us since the start. Then some bullshit happens, we prove the assassination was fake, the guy cries and pisses, and then we argue with this guy Bronco Knight about how he did this shit he did, and I'm like, guys, put the fucking assassination in the bag. We know it's fake. Why are we arguing about this post breakdown even? You can tell the writers got stock while writing this case, because at one point Miles is like, Tabby, please tell us the truth, believe in yourself. Like, this was the wall we had to overcome, huh? And then this stupid ass comes up with like a completely separate pointer, and I'm asking this from a purely writing standpoint, like not even a contradiction or anything. What's the point of coming up with a separate laser sight when we have a gun with a laser sight attached? Just take that shit off and use the thing. It's unattachable. She doesn't even know anything about the gun we found in the trash can at the start of the case. That gun is actually a fake gun, guys. Like, I don't get why it takes so long to talk about the trajectory being off. Why think about how the case is set up? What is even the point of having a deduction mechanic for which is not gonna use it? Don't worry, we'll get to that. And when we do manage to reach that topic, they do it in the stupidest way possible. Like, how come this gun has different amount of bullets, shot, or whatever? But like, you can't prove when those were fired, man. And you don't even need anything else. Just prove that the shot couldn't hit Rook. Like, come on, man. How can you shoot this guy's right armpit while you're standing here? That's a clear shot of his right armpit. It's impossible. Just end it. This picture literally proves everything about the case. You don't even need anything else. And the final nail in the coffin, listen, this final twist doesn't do what the writers think it does. Just because Bronco's fingerprints are on the bullets doesn't mean he fired the gun. Like, come on, bro. And the way the mechanics are used is killing me. They make the same mistakes with logic like they did previously, except there are connections that also don't make a lick of sense. Let's take the first logic connection. Number 1, the president got shot at. Number 2, there was security. Like, man, they didn't miss nothing. Conclusion? Man, this culprit guy, he was set, man. This murder is obviously premeditated. No shit? Have you ever heard of an assassination that was not premeditated? Do you think shit just happens randomly? The next connection is even more baffling because how do these connect? I thought he was gonna mention the trajectory, but he doesn't even get that far. He just talks about how many bullets there were. Deduction is a mechanic I very much liked in the first game. It saddens me they barely use this thing. Like, the first deduction they make you do is wrong and stupid, and then there's another deduction that I think is fine, and that's it. Only 2 deductions? Really? You know what they say, new game mechanic. Introducing mind chess. I hate mind chess. It's fucking useless. It's just a souped up talk option. It takes way too long to get through it. It fucks up the pacing of the case, and the series already has a major problem with pacing, and the result of this shit is we get to find out how many gunshots there were. As if there wasn't a crowd of people you can question and easily find this info out, you just had to specifically talk to this random OC nobody. And then the mind chess segment with President Wang is also ridiculous because they strap are ignoring the rules they set up. Like, don't rile up the president, Edgeworth, but then the correct answer is, fuck you, President Renderer, all you want, you stupid bitch. What? Also, why was extraterritoriality revealed this way, and why is this a big thing? We already know about this, didn't we? Like, they strap said that. Anyways, the end result of this is we hit the continue button because the case hit the pause button. I'm not even joking. Also, this case happens like a month after the other case. I find it funny this guy Miles came up with another case solving technology in the span of like 2 seconds. I would be just as confused as Gumshoe was. The fact that Shelly the killer did not even need to be in this case is crazy because, like I said, they invalidated the entire first half, and this guy is only here during the first half, meaning he shouldn't even be here in the first place, man. I also hate that Miles did not recognize this guy like out of character too much. Also, this the bullet was planted on a fucking bulletproof vest? Are you joking, man? What, bro? Do you realize what it actually entails to plant shit? Like, you still have to, like, I don't know, shoot a gun into the bulletproof vest. I don't know, bro. It says a lot about the case when the CG is not even correct. Like, the bullet trajectory in the CG is wrong. Like, I knew damn well this game was gonna be very long, and judging by how much I wrote about the first case told me everything. Well, at least Bronco is a fun enough character, and I like the twist of him switching the shits. That was kind of creative, but besides that, this case sucks ass. Worst case of the franchise. F tier, let's move on. Alright, so I kind of said a lot during that first case. Hey man, it flabbergasted me quite heavily. If they got rid of all the issues that plague this game, then this case could have been just as mid as the AI cases. I guess you can say I'm complimenting the case in a weird way, I don't know. This case is such a slog to play through since there are too many moments where they just talk for forever about nothing. They have to stick 2 mind chess segments at the start to make this case even more painful. Like, we're hitting mission critical on this does not need to be in this case. I feel like they really got limited while coming up with the game mechanic. Like, doesn't this feel like half mechanic to anyone? And the bullshit never stops. Like, Rocco Carcerado just could not recognize, you know, this guy, this prosecutor. Bro, he never told him his job, even though he's like the most famous prosecutor of the bunch. Like, I'm pretty sure they made a point about that in the first game in the series, and there was even a character in this game that also said he's famous. So, what the hell? This could also be, you know, the anime kind of just poisoning my mind because, you know, the way they introduce Edgeworth is kind of sick actually, and they, you know, he drifts his fucking car like in front of the courthouse, and there's like a bunch of paparazzi, man. It's like, oh, sure, man. Why the hell during Zoid's mind chess are these chess attacks, bro? Mind chess is straight up confusing me. See, this is why Edgeworth is a protagonist. I'm not, bro. Like he just reality bends his way through these cases, man. That's how he solves shit. I don't possess these kinds of abilities, okay? The first objection is straight up wrong. You go out of your way to establish Knight can't scream, and then you're like, well, how can Knight scream? He didn't even say who screamed, bro. Frank Zoid's testimonies, mostly the second one, are very odd to me. I'm sorry, you put like 10 different walls in front of me when all we needed is the fucking glove that you use forensics to figure out it's his anyway. Why couldn't you have just known? Why doesn't this motherfucker not say the tarp was open when he looked at it? You can't prove when this was closed. How did he get in? Because of the fucking animal, but they kind of refuse to go the extra mile to make an interesting confrontation, bro. And he just confesses to that fact that his bracelet is broken anyway. Like, you don't even have to like figure that out. Just says it. This case, man, is crazy bad, bro. This is nuts, man. When we are inspecting Bronco's cell, we inspect everything, but later on we find a hole under his. But you couldn't find this earlier, bro. Really? Like, bro just could not look under his bed, bro. Yeah, it was just forbidden for him to do so. Let's talk about Edgeworth's stupid ass theory. So Miles assumes the dog did the deed. Like, I don't need to tell you why this theory sucks ass. Bro's obvious frame one, the dog did nothing. I mean, when we inspected the body, Miles didn't notice anything that would tie the dog of this random assassin to the crime. He even said himself the body looked like it was stabbed. So how did the dog kill Bronco? I don't know, bro. Logic is barely used in this case until the final investigation segment. We only do like 2 connections in like 3 hours of playtime. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? These mechanics are fucking useless, man. The main cast is also expanding in the form of 2 rival characters, Eustace Winner and Verity Cavell. I kinda like Eustace Winner. He's funny enough, although his funny testimony needs some better phrasing, which is also another problem this series suffers from that I haven't actually pointed out a whole lot, but you know, there are questions that are weirdly phrased. Too many questions, in fact. Verity honestly carries this case for me. Like, every time she tries to argue, she's actually cooking somewhat. Even during our first clashing, they were actually cooking, all things considered, until Miles brought up the stupid ass story. Edgeworth! Edgeworth, don't do this to me! Edgeworth! Edgeworth! But this character is also written like shit. Like, every single time in this case, whenever we meet up, she always mentions the exact thing, being, Edgeworth, you're gonna lose your badge, Edgeworth, the badge, the badge, the badge. I counted 11 instances where she mentioned Edgeworth's badge. Like, come on, bro. I got it, bro. I understand. Stop. Shut up. As for the final segment, isn't it so much nicer to actually engage with this game, play the game, figure shit out? I honestly vibe the rest of the case away. That doesn't mean it's good or anything. Fifi Lagarde loves confessing for no reason many times. Stop confessing! Anyways, this was 5 hours of my life that I will never get back. Why is this case 5 hours long? I bet the devs looked at their watches and were like, Yamazaki, you can't do this, man. This is only case 2. And Yamazaki was like, oh, wait. Huh? But what was cooking? This case was very boring. I was mentally checked out for pretty much all of its runtime. I think the only parts where I felt like I was awake was the starting segment and the ending segment. The middle portion, I just put the game in autoplay and scroll on Twitter or whatever more. It was that boring. As such, the amount of stuff I can say about this case is some bullshit happens. That's pretty much it. It's crazy to me because the premise behind this case is so goofy. Like, a murder happened at a confectionery contest. You would think they would be cracking jokes left and right and make fun of this, but no, they want you to take this shit seriously. After all, it's the last case Gregory Smudgeworth worked on, so therefore feel sad. I want you to cry. Imagine if Jesus Christ refused to heal your illness unless you gave him the tastiest cupcake he ever ate in his entire life. Please, please, Jesus, heal my throatitis. Sorry, man, but these gummy bears are kinda goated. I want something in return. Oh, here we go, I'll taste the snack. Holy Mother of God, this is so goated, man. I'll heal your throatitis. Oh, why, thank you. I'll only comment on the beginning and the end, I guess. The beginning has us start playing as Gregory Edgeworth. This case is half flashback case and half normal case, I don't know. There's like the same amount of gameplay I've seen during case 2, ending investigation segment, and final stretch. They still make very dumb mistakes. In terms of gameplay, I have no idea why Gregory just assumes everything about this case. Like, look back on what he's saying and you'll come to realize everything he's saying is just assumptions about certain things. You know you can make different contradictions, you know you can have the character talk about other things. It doesn't have to be this way. They also pussy it out during the first testimony discussion. They just gave up and quickly moved on from that shit. Why does Gregor's objection soundbite sound like an 18-year-old is voicing this guy, who in universe he's 34, a dinosaur age for Ace Attorney, but his take that soundbite actually sounds pretty good? Better yet, why did they draw a background only to be used during one confrontation? What a waste of resources, man. But yeah, this case has problems where people talk too much, people confess shit for no reason, the gameplay is mid, and whatever, you get the point. The ending bit is kinda nuts, man. Like, the entire case barely moved in terms of mystery solving, and kinda forgot about gameplay for a second there. There's a Gregory segment where we do 2 evidence prompts and that's it. Are you serious? So it's very weird that the case is suddenly moving along to reach the conclusion. Would you believe me when I told you that Miles solves most of this case by relying on a sketch made by Larry Butts? Like, the only reason he knows about the chocolate in this picture is because of the fucking picture, man. It blows my mind, bro. Why did you put the chocolate in your pocket? It is actually insane. It's such an insane thing to say. What do you see in this, bro? Carmelo Gusto is some guy who hates his kid clearly. The twist where we argue around the statute of limitations is fun. I kinda like it, but I also kinda don't like it because it relies on him confessing. Like, I wish it was something we actually find out for ourselves. So it would be just this big climactic moment where, oh shit, we can actually convict this guy for his crimes. What do we do? Oh my god, Jesus Christ, I forgot to mention his defense attorney, Eddie Fender. In case 2, he does nothing. And would you believe me that in case 3, he also does nothing? He's even my assistant during Gregor's segments. It's fucking detective bad. What the fuck is this guy doing here? He serves no purpose other than to stare at water and sexually harass women. Why is this cast so bloated, man? There's so many people that sit around and do nothing. I don't get it. It's so crazy. Why did they make a character whose job is like a foil to the prosecutor, that being a defense attorney, and make this guy irrelevant as fuck during gameplay? Like, you don't even do like a testimony with him. He's not even your rival or anything. He's just there. He just says words, and he's written like he's a fucking, I don't know, how do you do, fellow kids kind of guy. Like, come on, bro. Alert! We got 3 good contradictions back to back! We won! Yamazaki did it! He made graduation! His cooking finally paid off! Case 4's first half is actually pretty damn good? Well, for the most part. It does stumble around towards the end, but I didn't have any major problems with the case personally. Aside from common problems that plague the game, that is, I really have no idea what Eddie Bungle Dungle contributes in this case other than sexually harassing Kay at times. Sir, that is a 17-year-old amnesiac young woman. Your ass is 36, and this guy's yapping game is unmatched, bro. Look how much dialogue I'm skipping because of this twat. Seriously, did they write all this dialogue and not think to, I don't know, cut down on said dialogue? You don't need these characters to make quips every 5 seconds. I also don't understand why Emma Sky is even remotely in this case, let alone the game. She continues to be a waste of space. This time she shows up in 2 cases as opposed to just 1. Yes, she shows up in the next case. That's it, she does nothing. By the way, it's just spoiler alert. Aside from science minigames, which nobody likes, let's be fair, they're too fucking basic for their own goods. She doesn't add anything to this game. Stop bloating the cast already! Also insane to have me do a mind chest only to get a piece of logic out of it. And Laura's testimony. And a picture. Why did I work so hard to get basic info? I don't get this mechanic. Who likes this shit? Fuck it. Now's the perfect time to discuss the talk options and how monumental pointless they are. Let's be brutally honest here. What's the difference between who are you to your name to memory loss? The answer is nothing. All of them is just us discussing case amnesia. Just have Miles ask follow-up questions, bro. Cut down the dialogue, delete the bloat, and just have the characters talk like normal fucking people. In fact, this game does this many times where the characters are gonna talk about something and then they give you a button to press about the topic they're about to discuss. Man, Yamazaki is too good for this world, man. In the detention center, we speak with Verity, and it seems like it sets up this conversation between the two. Her theme song is playing do 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 do. Unfortunately, you have to press the stock option to continue, and this isn't, necessarily an issue with AI too. They did this shit in the first game as well. Fuck you, Paleno! They literally did the exact same mistake they did in the first game, where Franziska doesn't trust Lada's testimony and you have to answer the question of why you trust her, and Miles' response is to ignore the question. That's good, that's good. Also, something tells me whoever wrote Excelsius' mind chess had no clue how this mechanic actually worked. So you got this thing called mind chess. How does that work exactly? Oh, well, you see, you do this, this happens, and it happens, and it makes you go, oh. This guy Excelsius is also exuding subtle writing that many people definitely missed. You see, based on his mannerism alone, you can tell this guy Excelsius is a real jerk. Anyways, this case falls apart during the second half. It is quite an experience because he made me think I was right and the game was bullshit. And then I was wrong and the game was actually cooking to right to wrong to right again. All in the span of 2 testimonies. There's this contradiction where you object with the picture and you would think the blood on this guy's hand will do the job, but then the game is like, did you know Lada heard the scream? And then has Verity beat the shit out of you. Like, that's not fair. Step 1, make bad objection. Step 2, completely annihilate your booty hole. Just fuck you, I guess. I had to stop for a second when the game wanted me to present the Yatakura Supine because, listen man, this game tried so hard to make me give a shit about Miles and Kay's relationship, as if their relationship was this deep and intricate bond that formed when they barely know each other for like a year at most. What are we doing here? Like, let's be fucking fair here. Edgeworth in general is like the most flanderized character. In this game, he's just the chess guy. Kay is like the thief girl. Gumshoe's detective man. It's like, bro, come on. This was the game with the good characters, I tell you, bro. Whenever that stupid ass song that goes dum 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 dum. I always had my skip dialogue finger ready. I guess it's an ability of mine now to spell bullshit from across the pond. Kay is told to believe in herself, and then she screams about cows, and now we are looking at this fuck-ass plushie. Only now. What is it with these guys and trying to turn everything into a twist of sorts? Just let me examine this shit. The red raincoat is also ridiculous because I already know it was contradictory the second we got it. In fact, this thing proves that the person in the photo is not the victim, as much as the game wants you to think that. Because if she was stabbed at all, then where are the stab wounds or holes in this case? My favorite part is when they said the autopsy was forged, they said that, and it just went like, yes. If Blue ever was hit, peak casing. My favorite question is them making me prove something the killer deliberately placed on the scene to make us think whatever, and the answer is the blood at the foot of the statue. Buddy, how do you plant that amount of blood? Are you even hearing yourself? I also very much love how much power this frog shit face looking bitch has over the case. Like, you guys realize Lara is a suspect if you want her to be. But no, everyone treats Lara's testimony as fact. I love the fact that Nurse Needler is just straight up confesses everything after one objection. Like a girl didn't even try, she just folded instantly. And then she continues to spew info that benefits me because, Miles is the main character. He needed to win since yesterday, bro. What is it with these games and making the characters just confess shit? I don't get it. Like, why don't we trust these very clear suspects, people? Well, like, these guys are fucking suspects as hell. Why do we trust them? Lara even contradicted her testimony later on. Like, she invalidated her testimony, and yet we still treat it as fact. Like, come on, dude, this game is so bad. They really go out of their way to make Miles win, especially this case. People complain about all the, is this the end-isms with Alba, but this game does that for like every case. How can I root for this guy if the way he wins is unbelievable to me? Dare I say, it's not realistic. My immersion is ruined. At one point in the case, we made everyone into room a suspect because we proved how easy it is for one to disguise and keep the number of the attendees in check. Yeah, this case has some subplot about the smuggling ring where these guys bid money to get items that were in police custody, and like, why would I care about these hypothetical people? And by the way, you end up disproving no one, bro. We made everyone in the room a suspect and we disproved nobody. Okay, bro. The way you prove Excelsius did it is through a reaction from Eustace, mostly, and Miles' line is asked throughout the confrontation. Verity suddenly does a 180 on Excelsius, and like, bro, what is this? This is so jarring. Eustace was the funny guy to me, but then the game wants me to feel sad for him. Lamau, no? My favorite part is when the villain takes a dookie on their kid. I promised Eustace to communicate the fact that yes, whatever he said about the voices heard in the recording thingy inside the plushie, I want you to know he was right. Unfortunately, he got cooked. Rest in peace, King. I'm veering a little bit into the shitpost zone at the moment, like, I don't know, let's just wrap this up and go home and be done with this, you know? Miles wins through the power of friendship and because I said so. That's it, that's all it is. Oh my god, we finally reached the end of the game. We did it! I would like to thank the people who helped me come this far. I would like to thank my mother for shooting me out of this world. Yeah, this game's like a C tier, take it or leave it. None of these cases are S tier like many people want you to believe. They don't even remember what actually happened in these cases. The case starts with misusing their fucking game mechanics. Once again, there's this fucking horn on the crime scene. You examine it, but you don't do anything with it. It's not even logical or anything. It doesn't even go in your evidence, nothing. Instead, you have to talk to Penny Shitface, assistant. Yes, about the movie she's making. Get the poster and deduce this horn with the poster. What is the point of fucking anything, man? This isn't a contradiction. Theory about something with a testimony from a suspect as our basis. That's a good start. Something about this game is that it loves putting unnecessary descriptors in the evidence. Either questions which makes zero sense to me, or extra fucking description as if I can just look at the thing and come to the same conclusions. Wouldn't it be cooler if this photo only said photo taken yesterday? That's it! Like this objection right here would still work. It would be infinitely better if it only said that. God, this game goes out of its way to make something fun be not as fun as it could be. Anyways, here's an hour and a half of nothing. We watch how a trial about case 2 commences, and I gotta say, this is the most high tier corruption I've ever seen. Like, everyone here besides Franziska was there. They have seen Fifi Lagarde confess. How is this shit impartial? Crazy that Edgeworth is actually fine with this, but I guess it's because it suits his agenda. Also, recap the trial I just watched. Yeah, that's very good game design. You know, I find it funny that case 5 in both games have you do a million things. This time you investigate the abduction of Verity's kid, which was noted by Kay as her being too young to be a mother, and if 26 is too young, then I know some people. And the murder of a president. I don't have much to say about this other than Eustace being the final boss of Mind Chess, and it's literally a prototype version of Mood Matrix. We'll get there when we'll get there. With a drop of Nazi grammar Miles over here. So anyways, here in my garage, doing a little bit of therapy for a little young guy me. I will say, out of any of these characters, I love Excelsior's winner. He is such a dick, I love him so much. Actually, 2 base to be stuck in this game. Rest in peace, King, you will be missed. Oh yeah, Fifi is here too. Remember her situation case too, and how it kind of made her sympathetic. Yeah, let's have this bitch act cartoonishly evil for no reason. Whatever, man. I care more about Sheila and Lang coming back from the grave and accusing Verity and her little kid fucking ultra omega based. Only to come back to the crime scene and have nothing new that we can learn about this shit. We really did waste an hour and a half on nothing. But all things considered, these confrontations are actually kind of good. The intern who knows how to write the case is fighting in the writing room. I hope he wins. But yeah, no notes here. Then we have a fun enough little thief segment. That's all I have to add. We're investigating it on another DL-6. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the flashback case in case 3 is a DL-6 incident ripoff. We're seeing so many DL-6s you can swim in them. I don't know, I didn't particularly care about this old case. There are moments that are interesting and moments where the logic doesn't really make sense to me. Bro is treating a child's drawing as fact. Look at how inaccurate it is. Hello? Why is the swing there? Where's the lamppost? This picture is fucking wrong. I like the body double theory, but everything else needs some looking back me things. For our final confrontation, it is against him insane, some fucking dude. I had no big expectations for this shit, and I was right. The first objection is bad. Bro said the truck is blue, therefore it's yours. Like, not even gonna use the register plate or whatever it's called to confirm it. It's actually his. Nah, you see, Miles touched the car, therefore that's how we know. I mean, the entire thing is nonsense from start to finish. They're yapping for a million years about nothing between testimony 1 and 2. This guy keeps asking for proof every 5 seconds like a certain old war veteran. He also confesses to shit he shouldn't even have any knowledge of, like the bug if he was truly innocent. Why does Edgeworth make shit up like every time? How did the president manage to get Kumba stumped by a hot air balloon? Is he stupid? I guess he's a very inconsistent character because I remember him in case 1 not liking guns as much. Yet here we see him manhandling a pistol. Another thing I want to point out is the amount of people that sit around and do nothing. Like Franziska only has 2 lines of dialogue during the entire Simeon confrontation. Why is she even there, bro? Don't you have better things to do? There's other things that I don't like, such as Simeon's main theme. I heard someone point out that it sounds like a pirate theme, and now I can't unsee it. Or I guess I and hear it. But whatever, bro. Blah blah blah. By the power of fathers, chess, and themes, we beat the game. I didn't even mention shit like the dinosaur monster shit because it's dumb and pointless and stupid. We did it! We finally did it! I survived through this boring ass slog of a game. This was the last game to release on DS before transitioning to 3D with the 3DS. So the fact they pushed for the visuals as much as they did is decently cool. I like that every case is connected. That's fun. I don't like this game for being such a regression of what came before. It's not the worst game in the series, but I think at the moment of me doing these reviews, it is the worst game in the series. This is a very boring game with a few moments where the game shines. I wish it was like that the entire game. I'm in the minority when it comes to hating this game because this is considered a fan favorite and I simply don't get it. Next time we're actually doing the crossover. Now that I have played Layton and I'm familiar with the IP and combine that with my knowledge of Ace Attorney, this could be an interesting replay. Only one way to find out. In the end, the poo is true. Look at these gamers over here, mewing in front of their badges. This truly was an Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Gambit. And before the video ends, I must confess that yes, I'm actually Yamazaki. When I was 1 year old, I drew a picture of him and gave it to the police, and now I'm him. I ruined everything for everyone, so please do excuse my unforgivable sins. It's true, I left Capcom and then I came back. I'm here to make Ace Attorney 7. Everything I said is 100% facts. Now please excuse me while I go ask ChatGPT to generate Ace Attorney 7 for you to enjoy some slop. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.